Cheers, Kev. Hi, Paul. How's things?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Richard. You?
Yeah, not so bad. Thank you. First of all, can we just start with some comments that Steve Bettis made earlier this week, updating on the search for a new manager? And he said that it's a short list of 5. He's impressed with the way you'd handle things in a difficult situation, and you were on it. I know initially you told us that your plan was to go back to your original job, but equally, if you were approached, then you wouldn't rule anything out. So I imagine, at the very least, that must be flattering to know that the club thinks so highly of you.
Yeah, definitely, and that's exactly as I've taken it. Flattering to be on that list. I think it is just business as usual, though. For me, nothing's changed. There might something official come out, but in terms of my approach and how we're approaching the games, and between now and the end of the season, nothing's going to change. I'm just going to give me all for the players and the staff. Make sure we're all pulling in the same direction, as I said, and just trying to get the feeling a little bit different, ready before the break up. I keep saying it. Next season's going to be a really, really important season, and one where we want to start positively. So anything I can do in the short term to help out, I'm going to do it.
Is it a role, though, going forward that you think there is potential in if things did progress?
What, in terms of missing personally, you mean?
Yeah.
Speaking.
Yeah, of course, but I'm honestly not thinking about that one.
Hello there, yeah.
My role's got to be just focusing on the job right now, working with the players. And as I said, we were really clear and open before I stepped up to be interim in terms of, give it my best. I'll do it for as long as it needs to be done. I see it as part of my job and duty to give my best to the club. But I was brought in here to work with the 23s. So, nothing's changed until there was a different conversation. Nothing's changed in my eyes one little bit.
On that note of working with the players, I imagine there must have been a slightly more upbeat mood this week on the back of that win last weekend.
Yeah, just a really, I was just pleased for them and their efforts, because I've said it numerous times. One thing that I don't think could be labelled at the players was a lack of effort. Whether that you're looking at the running stats, whether you're just physically watching the game and seeing the boys. So I was just really pleased that they've got the rewards and got 3 points, because the approach in all the games has been great in training. And they're a real honest group of players that want to do well. So, yeah, I was just delighted for them that we managed to get the 3 points.
And I know you've previously said that there are things to play for here for this group. Certainly looking forward to next season, places at the club and so forth. Without trying to belittle Tottenham in any way, they've obviously had their own issues of late. Is this an opportunity for these players once again that you have to go out there and prove that they are worth it going forward?
Yeah, every game is. It doesn't matter about the opposition. There's no way I could belittle Tottenham in anything I say anyway. Fantastic club. They've just been in a cup final. They might be undergoing changes themselves, which automatically means the finger's pointed at them and they're under a microscope. But fantastic club with a fantastic group of players. So we know how difficult it's going to be. We've just been speaking about that. But it certainly is another opportunity, and that's how we've approached every game. Going to play at a fantastic stadium against a good group of players, and a group of players who themselves will be trying to impress, under a caretaker manager, but knowing that there's going to be a change and a new manager coming in. We know it's going to be a difficult game, but you're right, it is another opportunity to impress.
And in terms of team news, is there any positive news this week?
People have been coming back, like I say, so we've had back training this week, which is great. So it's really important. I've said all along, I'd love to have everyone back and training. I just hope it's not the last training session of the season and that we've got everyone back before. But yeah, everyone's pushing in the right direction. And it'd be great to get all that back and get the experience back. But we're just running out of games to get that match fitness. It's okay having everyone back, but it doesn't mean that every player is going to be 100% and ready to go. But we can still certainly work with them in training, look to give them minutes before we do break up for the summer, ready for next season as well. So things like that are in his mind.
And how's Sander looking? Is he any closer to being ready to play?
Yeah, I'll include Sander in the squad. He's had plenty of training days with us now. Got stronger and feeling more confident every day. And the medical team are happy to sign him off or sign him over to us. So he's done a lot of work. Everyone's worked hard within the medical team, the coaching staff. So yeah, we'll look to integrate him into the squad now.
And just finally from me, Paul, last week we spoke about the prospect of social media blackout. Obviously, football from 3:00, along with many of us and other sports, are going to instigate that over the course of this weekend. Firstly, how pleased are you to see that, as you suggested, a larger group has come together on a unified front on this? And secondly, I wonder, as manager these days, how much more of your time is taken up now having to address social media issues, online hate with players that might eat into time you'd otherwise have on the training field?
Yeah, so firstly, delighted that that football's led the way again, which I think we can be proud of, everyone involved in football. It might be because under the microscope and we experienced it a hell of a lot, but so do many people in the world, any sort of abuse. So I'm really pleased and delighted that football's led the way. I'm even more pleased that a lot of other companies, businesses, organisations, significant others have joined the cause as well, because that's the only way that will make a difference. It cannot be right that the things people say, do, or infer, if it was in the normal walk of life, face to face, they'd be prosecuted, locked up, prosecuted. But yet we provide a platform for them to be able to do it with no repercussions, and I cannot understand it. So I'm delighted that as many people as possible are joining the cause for the next few days, and hopefully it's the start of a change. Your second part of the question, how much time does it take up? As much as you let it. It would be one way of looking at it, but you certainly do have to deal with it. A few years ago, I had to deal with it with a couple of young players. First time they'd really come under the microscope and were getting stick from the home fans, and because of social media, there's no hiding place. People can get to you, and if they can't get to you, can get to the family, and it became a real problem for these two younger players. And it wasn't until we addressed that and managed the psychological issues of that we got them playing really well again. So yeah, there's all sorts of instances that where you do have to manage it. I think it's an education thing as well, that if you are going to be in the public eye, if you are going to be a sports person, you are going to have to accept that sort of criticism if you want an online profile, but only criticism, I think, in the right way, because we have to make sure we create some boundaries where if people are behaving in a way that's unacceptable in everyday life, it should be unacceptable online as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that, Paul, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Hi, Paul. You all right?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Very well. If I can just kind of continue for a second on the social media theme, is it something that you found with Sheffield United has been a big problem? The reason why I ask is clearly we're speaking to Wednesday and Barnsley about all these types of things, and Sheffield United's players directly and indirectly have really referenced that kind of abuse that they've had this season quite a lot. So is it something that they talk about and you're acutely aware of quite a lot within the dressing room?
Yeah, we're aware of things that have obviously come into the public domain. Primarily the racist abuse, which we are all obviously disgusted with, and it's no reference or consequence to any sort of performance or result. We're all aware of that, and it's disgusting. But yeah, I think if you discuss it and you're open about it, and it does help to deal with any criticism, might be performance-related criticism, because everyone's got an opinion on football, and as I said before, this platform just provides people a way to express that. Now, if it's done in the right way, fine, because you go and have a pint in a pub somewhere and you could easily disagree with someone with a totally different opinion on football, no problem. But it's like I said, in everyday life, if you're meeting face to face, there's an element of respect there, or there's a way you have to behave, or there's consequences. We need to get that online as well. And that's the problem, that people can behave in a way you don't even know how old they are, you don't even know how educated they are, but certainly they can just keep getting away with it because there's no consequences, there's no checks. So they're the issues, and that's fundamentally the reason behind the boycott.
And that's where some of the debate gets lost, isn't it? I'm sure most players could handle a little if somebody said to them, you weren't very good today, even if it's a bit sweary, I suppose, as they do that kind of thing. But it goes far beyond that, doesn't it?
It goes far beyond it, but it's a breeding ground for it. It promotes a wrong way of behaving. It actually promotes just comments that don't make sense, comments with no justification, comments with no evidence. Even the comments about just performance, if you're purely talking about performance, it does stimulate debate in a good way. We know that can be used in a really good way, but just the way in which it's set up provides a platform for people to just put whatever they want. And sometimes the more outrageous they are, the more followers they get. Sometimes the more outrageous they are, the more responses they get. And when it's all about hits on a website or popularity or amount of people knowing what a certain website is, then the more outrageous, the better in some people's eyes. And it's totally wrong.
Changing tack, how much of a positive and a boost is it that, Sander Berge might play some football this weekend after such a long time on the sidelines?
Yeah, listen, first and foremost for him, he's had to work hard. It was an injury out of nothing, a serious injury out of nothing, and everyone's worked hard with him. So he'll be delighted. The medical team will be delighted. The rest of the players and staff are, and as well as the fans. The fans are looking forward to getting him back involved and in the squad. And everyone's pulling in the same direction for him. So yeah, we're pleased. He's put in the work, and as I said, he'll be integrated back into the squad now.
Is Basham in a position to play, or is he a little bit behind, or at least some football maybe at Spurs, or is he a bit behind Sander?
Yeah, well, he's obviously behind because he's only trained this week, but a less serious injury, which is fine. He's a naturally fit boy, and he's only missed a few weeks rather than months. So yeah, from that respect, there's a lot less risk with playing Bash and involving him. But we have to be conscious that he's not going to be 100%. We know that because of the time he's been out and the short period he's been back in training with us. Does
the statement that was put out by the club and the comments from Steve Bettis this week turn your leadership of the team now into an audition, whether you like it or not, for the job? No, not at all. I think, listen, if we're honest, that's more a comment for everyone else, isn't it? And to show the direction of the club and the process is ongoing. In terms of my approach, the players' approach, our conversations we have internally as a performance group, staff and players, no, nothing will change. It won't change anything in terms of our approach. So, no, I think it's just important that the club provide that sort of clarity for the fans and make sure that everyone understands that there is work going on behind the scenes, and they're doing as much as they possibly can to make the right decisions. I should have asked this at the time, and I didn't really, because it was part of a wider conversation. But you were talking about the fact that the club asks your opinion on things, and you're there and helping out in that respect. Enlighten us on that. What sort of things are they wanting you to essentially help them make decisions on right now? Is it about ins and outs and the future? Yeah, all that type of stuff. Ins, outs, the future, the club, and just general football matters decisions. There's still a recruitment department here. There's still obviously sports science, medicine, things like that. They all need to keep improving and driving and want to make things better so they can perform better next season. So everything to do with the football club, really. And then obviously myself and Jack still discussing the academy players, contracts with academy players, retention, things like that, possible loans for those players next season. So all these decisions that are ongoing every day. It's important that everything keeps getting pushed forward, everything keeps getting driven in the right direction. And then when there is someone at the helm with the responsibility to drive the club forward, they can have the best start in place that they can possibly take up. I wonder, when that statement dropped, part of you rolled your eyes a little bit and thought, oh, crikey, I'm going to get asked about the job every press conference between now and the end of the season. I was prepared for it anyway. I've got asked a few times about it anyway. But as I said, honestly, nothing will change. It's not changed my approach, and it won't.
I'm lucky in terms of I know, like I said before, I stepped up. We had real clarity in what the club wanted from me, what it looked like. So helping out as much as I possibly could, giving a bit of stability to the team, the players and the staff, with nothing affecting my role going forward as well, because the club knew I really enjoyed that. I think we're having a lot of success with that, and I got a lot of enjoyment out of doing that as well. So I'm lucky, really. I can't lose.
Changing tack then to the game, there is actually a football match this weekend. Spurs minus Jose Mourinho, do they seem like a different beast today than perhaps they might have done 2 weeks ago?
Well, they will, because Ryan and Chris, and they'll be working on different things without a doubt. I couldn't tell you the feel of the place or how the players are feeling. And no doubt, as always happens with a change in managers, some will be more pleased than others, some will be really disappointed. And it's just something, as a manager, that it happens. It's a horrible part of the job. No manager's really given enough time. But in terms of how it affects them, we won't know. We don't know. But all we can do is prepare ourselves. We know, like I said, it's a real good group of players that, regardless how well they're playing at any moment in time, they've got players who can produce key passages of play that can take a game away from you. And if I'm honest, I think the game at Bramall Lane was similar to that. Our performance as a club was pretty decent, and some real key moments in the game meant that Spurs went away with the 3 points. So we know how good they can be.
Brilliant. Best of luck on Sunday. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Andy.
So.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Obviously, you and Ryan Mason share some common ground here, holding the fort until, a full-time appointment is made. Do you empathise with the position he's found himself in? And how difficult is it when you have to pick up the reins at short notice like that, as you have done?
Yeah, I think every situation's different. So I remember doing it for the first time, for example, at Barnsley. Yeah, totally different. New experience. The football doesn't change, the game doesn't change, but anytime you're doing something for the first time, and anyone, any walk of life understands what I'm saying here, it is a different feel. Once you've done it once and you reflect on it, it's different again. And so me stepping up will be different from Ryan doing it for the first time, without a doubt. It is a totally different situation. I don't know, and I'm not privy to the conversations that Ryan's had with Daniel Levy, for example, about what's happening going forward with him. So that puts a different spin on things. So no, I wouldn't have I could understand how he's feeling for the first time doing it. I don't know his ambitions in the future. Does he want to be a manager or not? Or is he just stepping up? All these things have a big impact on how he'll approach this passage. But certainly 100%, it'll be fantastic for him going forward. I say to anyone who's coaching, we even haven't got ambitions to be a manager, if you ever get the opportunity, you do it. It might not be for you, but you do it, because it's a great experience. Some people love it. Some people never want to experience it again. But it's certainly something that for me, you have to experience if you ever get the opportunity.
You crossed paths with him before in any capacity?
Oh, we played, yeah. I met him a couple of times on course, and then we played their 23s this season. We went down and had a friendly, so we had a chat before the game as well. So yeah, just in passing, never been at the same clubs, just at different events.
I'm sorry, but it's another one on the job, I'm afraid. In terms of your plans going forward, now you are on this shortlist, are you behind the scenes working on lists of players and recruitment, if indeed it is going to be you? Do you have to do that now?
No, nothing personal. No, like I said, nothing's changed for me. So we were already having those conversations anyway, in terms of feedback from all the staff on the squad, current squad, players' situations. I think that only changes when the man comes in, because that's when you have to drive it, whether it's convincing people to stay, whether it's telling people they're not needed, whether that's identifying and going after targets and trying to capture the heart of new signings and trying to get them involved. So for me, nothing's changed. We've been having those discussions anyway, but certainly once you are the man, when that man comes through the door and he's then tasked with driving these things forward, we'd love to have as much information as possible and as much help there to go, ready to go. But that for me is only when it starts getting driven.
Needs to happen quick though, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, the longer it goes on, the less time you're giving yourself to be prepared, without a doubt. But windows don't open. We know that you can do a lot of groundwork, but windows don't open till the season closes. And people say, yeah, the season. When you're managing and people say, yeah, the season's over, you're going off, you're having a rest. You're not. Believe me, you're not. That's when your work starts.
Come on, thank you.
All right, mate.
What's up?
Hey.
Hi, Paul. You okay?
Yeah, Nathan, you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Just touching on something then, a follow on from Paul then regarding, does that mean decisions have been made on the outer player contract, players who are out of contract? Have they had discussions about their futures, or is that still going to be left with the new manager when he comes in?
Yeah, I've not had those conversations, so I wouldn't know. Yeah, so don't forget. Say if, let's talk hypothetically now. Say if a new manager has been agreed and no one knows, not one of us knows, he's already in a job, so we can't get him in. He'll still be doing his own homework on players and watching games and asking about. But until he takes the job, he can't be telling people yes or no, your career at Sheffield United's over, or we want you to stay. He can't be doing that. So, as I said, there'll be lots of work going off. Probably between, I don't know, the other people on that shortlist. They'll probably all be doing their own homework on these things. So, yeah, it has to be the manager, or the manager who comes in has to have the greatest input in regards to that.
Is the club in a position to know where it's going with those sort of players then? Have they made, not necessarily decisions, but a rough idea on who they're expecting to keep or expecting to release? Or
I've only had the conversations with them about current staff's opinions here. Does that make sense to you? So like I said,
yeah.
If you're speaking to other people about a manager's job, I wouldn't have a clue what's been mentioned there. I'd just be guessing like you guys. I would not have a clue. So no, like I said, it has to be left until the manager's named, and then unless the club are happy to go with whoever they're going to name, and they make the decision. But no, nothing's been set in stone as far as I know.
And just one more from me. I know you mentioned a couple of weeks ago that you had set aside some attention for Ryan Brewster on the training ground. I was just wondering, Lys Mousset is a player that, if this football club can get him back to that purple patch from last season, they have one hell of a striker on their hands. He's had a difficult season. He doesn't look like he's enjoying football at the minute. Have you had any one-to-one with him? Have you had any time with him? Have you done any work to him? Where is he at in terms of his sort of status right now and where he's at?
We have. In fact, I've had lots of chats with Lys, really honest ones, really open ones, as I try and be anyway with the players. And ultimately, it's down to Lys. We know, yeah, he had a short burst last season where he did very, very well and proved a really big player for the team and also fans' favourite. But we've not seen that Lys, and it's down to Lys. Lys has to do it. He has to produce it. He's certainly been getting the help. He's certainly been getting the attention. We're certainly so determined for him to reproduce that, and we'd love to see him reproduce that. He would as well. So that's probably the answer to your question. Yeah, we all want him to be that player that we saw in those glimpses last season, but we want him to be that player for, 46 games in the league next season, don't we? That's the thing. So he's getting all the attention. Really clear. Nothing's been said to him that isn't the truth. And we'll see what happens.
How do you feel he's responded? Are you happy with his response?
Yeah, he's trying. He's working hard. So we're doing extras. So whether that's extras in the gym, extras on the training ground with myself. He obviously played a couple of 23s games as well. He was down to play when I was doing it. And then when I took over, we sent him to play some more 23s games for his fitness. So in terms of where is he in relation to 6 weeks ago, in a much better place.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Paul, and good luck on Sunday.
Cheers.
Right, we'll embargo this stuff now until 10:30 tonight. Shields it.